today a job that may be bigger than what I should have taken. We've got mosquitoes biting, so I got to go put my sleeves on, but we've got all of this that we need to take down, to everything 2 inches and under. We're going to be doing that with a TORO brush cutter. So there's about, I think, 3.5 acres total, everything. And we are going to clear about 2 acres back that way with about 10 to 15 feet on either side for privacy. And I was hoping, it must have rained during the night, I was hoping this would be a lot drier because it's going to be kind of a pain. The other thing I know some people will say is, oh, you shouldn't have done that with that equipment. You've got to have bigger equipment. Everybody's got to start somewhere. So what I don't want you to think is that if you're thinking of starting mowing or brush clearing or some business of your own, that you have to start with the very best, because you don't. It will make you more efficient, but it's also going to cost a lot of money that you may not have. So don't ever feel bad if you're trying to start a business and you've got to start with something that people who have been doing it a while would say, oh, that's a waste of time. You shouldn't do, oh, that pressure washer's too small. You shouldn't use a push mower for that. Oh, you need a skid steer with a brush hog attachment. I mean, they may not be wrong, but that doesn't mean that you can't still do it. And then if you don't know what a brush cutter is, you can think of it as a mower on steroids, but there's a couple of differences. So one of them, you'll see this push bar. This is to push over the stuff that you're trying to cut. When you're mowing grass, you want your deck to create a lot of suction and lift so it can pull the grass up as it cuts it. That is not as important in a brush cutter because you're not really trying to lift stuff. The stuff you're cutting doesn't really need to be lifted, presumably, because it's going to be taller. So it does need to be pushed over and then cut. And so this is what actually does the cutting. This is a 28-inch blade, and it has 2 of these little flail blades on the end of it. The deck is pretty sturdy as well. You've got a lot of protection on this spindle so it doesn't bust. You've got a little bit of a debris guard back there. So this is a rear discharge so it doesn't shoot out to the side like a mower. So this is what actually does the cutting. That larger middle section of blade just holds these as they spin around. And if these hit something that won't give, this is how you have, you know, some kind of tolerance in the machine so you don't blow the machine up if you hit a rock or something. These will actually give as they're spinning around. You can see how big that is. And again, here's your cutting edge, and they're reversible, so if you need to, you can just swap them. But if you call it a mower on steroids, yeah, you're pretty close. I lost my forward and reverse after that clink. And I found out why. Here is a belt. This belt is in perfect condition, but it's missing the all-important quality of being connected to the brush hog. Now I would say let's go drive it up the trailer ramp, but again, I've got no belt to drive it with. Well, let's see how easy it is to push once we release the hydros. So I find this extremely ironic that this happened, especially after my little speech about don't let people tell you what you can't do. I'm guessing that there's some piece of brush that just got caught in there and, you know, popped it loose. If you're in this situation, you're gonna have to figure out what you wanna do. And here's my thought process. Now, you do have to realize that me having a YouTube channel plays a part in almost all of the jobs I choose to take that aren't just regular mowing jobs, right? But I've been mowing for about 4 minutes and I already had a belt slip. If you rented something like this, it could be that you have, hopefully you got the renter's insurance, but that they would fix it for you. But again, then you're gonna have to take it all the way back and then, you know, come back to the jobs. I'm still gonna try and push it to the trailer and see if I can figure out what's going on. But I'm gonna be completely honest with you. If this happened in the first 5 minutes of me mowing, I don't have high hopes for me being able to finish this project. I think what I'm gonna do is just try and clean up what I mowed with the finish mower, make it look a little better, see if I can clean up that septic area a little bit more, and probably just call it a day and tell the guy there's not gonna be any charge for anything. I'm very sorry. I thought that the machine I picked out would be able to handle it based on its performance. I don't think that's so. And here's the thing, that whatever freak thing happened to throw that belt off, that might not happen again. Or it could happen again, and every time it does, I'm gonna be eating 30, 40 minutes in repairs. Even if I figure out how to repair it and I can do it here, it's not a very good thing to have hanging over your head. So again, I do think it's funny that this happened right after my little speech, but I still think that's valid. I would rather have tried this with this piece of equipment, and now I've made a piece of content. I've given you something to think about, or at least something to laugh about. And so for me, that's a win. But I mean, if you're thinking of starting something on your own and all you see are people saying, no, you can't do it because of this, that, or the other, that could be discouraging. So I'm here to tell you, yeah, they might be right, and your and your stupid little push mower might break within 5 minutes of work. But maybe it doesn't, and maybe what you're starting with is perfect to get your business up off the ground. Or maybe you're just as much as an idiot as I am, and then you'll have to push this 300, 400-pound machine back to the trailer and wallow in your self-pity. But at least you tried. And the benefit is that you probably won't have a comment section full of people who are saying, yeah, that's because you're a dumb idiot. I knew this would happen, Brad. Which I'm looking forward to, by the way. I'm sure I won't be disappointed. I might as well show you me doing the push of shame back to the trailer too. Well, at least that part of the job went better than I thought it would. Nothing else did, but... Two things to remember. I'm not trying to tell you how to run a company. I'm showing you how I run mine, and you can either be entertained by that or hopefully learn something from that, whether that's, well, I'm never doing what Brad does, or, oh, I like that thing Brad did, I might do that. The other thing is I routinely get comments about people who say, I don't know why you would put this on YouTube. It makes you look bad. I would never hire you. You're lazy. You've got a bad work ethic. Well, that's the difference between you and me, is I don't care how I look to people that I never meet. I mean, if I do something that's dumb, I'm going to tell you about it. It doesn't make me feel bad if somebody says, boy, Brad, that was really dumb. Yeah, I know it's dumb. I'm sitting here telling you it is. I have always from day one said that I care about being transparent, especially when I do stupid stuff, because that can be even more entertaining or instructional than when things go right. So you can see how wet this area is. I don't necessarily want a real heavy tractor coming up here, but now at this point, even my mower's too heavy for this. I felt myself slipping here, and I just had to gun forward so that the brush, I used the brush basically to get me out of that mud. But anyways, I cleaned this up a little bit better. I'll try and clean up that top area. But the issue is that this is the sewer connection, so I can't mess this up. So this goes into somewhere right around the top of where I cleared. So there's not much more I can do. So bad situation all the way around. Completely my fault. I mean, I'm not blaming anybody, but you know, it is what it is. At the very least, I think I made a slightly entertaining video for you, so that's always a win in my book. So at this point, you can see my email to him and his reply to me. Basically, he was very appreciative. I didn't try and blame anybody else and accepted responsibility, so worked out well in the end. I put him in touch with somebody else locally who does that kind of work, so hopefully they can help him out. And speaking of not caring if I look dumb, here's a bonus video. It was a little too short to release on its own, but I tried to do something nice for somebody and my own stupidity backfired on me in a spectacular way. Here it is. Well, we're here at the second young lady who asked for some help. I called her a day or two ago and left a voicemail saying, you know, if it works for you, I'll be out Friday morning. I never heard back from her, but I went and came out here. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like anybody's answering the doors or anything. So I don't feel comfortable enough with the situation to go ahead and pressure wash what I think is going to need pressure washing. So unfortunately, we'll just have to circle back at some later time. Well, things have taken an interesting turn and I am stuck 100% in this person's yard who I've never met. Yeah, it was a tricky bit of a backup. I've unhooked the trailer. I still am I'm spinning in this soft dirt. Yep, pretty well stuck. There's this little ditch running all the way through, and I did not think it was deep enough to get me stuck, but it is. So these people don't know me. I have come onto their property without permission to try and do this. Ended up nobody was home, so I couldn't, and now I'm tearing up the yard. Today is a good day. I'm being facetious. Well, so I have no clue if this will work, but that is just enough, just enough line. So that ratchet's pretty much as tight as it'll go, and I'm gonna see if this little forward pressure is enough to rock out. Okay, so that's not working. So now the only thing I can think is I'm gonna have to disconnect this trailer, push it back, then we're going to have to pull this backwards from there with the ratchet strap and see if that back is enough to get us out. I think once we're out of the ditch, well, that's part of it. Let's just get there first. I can't move that. We'll just have to strap it to the tree with the trailer attached.